For inviting me. I very much appreciate being here with all of you. And I know that your organizations are doing amazing work. So happy to be here. I'm just going to do a brief presentation, and then I'm going to be available if folks would like to meet with me for breakouts regarding job searching or anything within the realm of professional development. So I have to apologize. I'm recovering from a cold, so my voice is not 100%. But hopefully you can all hear me. So today I was asked to speak briefly regarding job searching in a post-pandemic world. So just to give you a little background so you know where I'm coming from, I currently work as the College Readiness Director at a nonprofit called New City Kids. We're a national organization founded 28 years ago. We're in both New Jersey and Michigan. And I oversee our college and career readiness in both the Jersey City and the Paterson locations in New Jersey. So we work with students that are coming from underprivileged areas, and I help them to prepare them and help them to apply and get into college, and then of course follow up with them as well. Prior to my role, I worked at Stevens Institute of Technology, which many of you are probably familiar with because a lot of you are STEM people. So I was there for about 12 years in career services, and also served as an adjunct. So I worked with college students, undergraduates, and grads to help them job search, resume writing, interviewing, helped coordinate with recruiters, things like that. I have my education up here as well. So just wanted to give you an idea of what background I'm coming from. So networking is more important now than ever. As we all know, lots of things have changed in the job market since the onset of COVID. And so I'm going to talk to you about networking both from a digital perspective, but also from an in-person perspective as well. So I figured you would all like stats since you're coming from mostly STEM, law, business backgrounds. So I wanted to make sure I gave you some stats. So speaking to social media and how this is being used in the world of recruiting, 73% of job seekers ages 18 to 34 found their last job on social media. 84% of organizations are recruiting using social media, and 70% of managers have had success recruiting on social media. So I'm not sure if these numbers are surprising to you, but working in career services for 12 years, I saw these numbers go up every single year that I was preparing presentations on this. So this is absolutely a trend, and I don't see it going anywhere. So I'm sure the young people in the room are already fully aware of this. But it also means, yes, social media can be used as a tool, but it also means that the separation between your personal life and professional life might not exist in the way that you actually want it to exist. So just being aware that companies are vetting candidates based on what they're seeing on social media. So your brand matters a lot, and you may not get selected for interviews because of what they're seeing. So hopefully this information is not new to all of you, but just want to reiterate that that's really, really important that recruiters really are on these sites. LinkedIn, by and far, is the number one in terms of what recruiters are using. And these numbers are based on what recruiters are using, not what job seekers are using. So that's what you really want to do when you're job searching, is you want to put yourself in the shoes of the recruiter. And so they're going on these sites predominantly. So it doesn't mean they're not using other sites, but these are the top three. So they're using LinkedIn, 57.2%, Facebook, 28.3%, and Twitter, 14.5%. So recruiters are not passive. They're not just sitting back waiting for people to apply. They're much more proactive now than they ever were before. So they go out and seek candidates based on things like keywords. So you want to make sure, again, when you're looking at your profiles and things you're posting, look at it pretending you're in the shoes of the recruiter. So would you want a prospective boss, manager, coworker to be looking at what you're posting. So just be wary of that. Okay, so there are a lot of myths that I've heard over the years regarding networking. So I just kind of want to go through some of them and explain why these are actually myths and not truths. So the first one is, how can I network? I don't know anyone. I hear this all the time from people of all ages, not just young people. I hear it from people of all ages. And the truth is, you probably know a lot more people than you think. It's not just like, I'm not saying people in your field, just people in general. One of the things I've noticed, especially with the younger students I worked with when I was at Stevens, is that young people, they weren't going out and talking to people about their work, what projects they're working on, what they're passionate about. And so let's say family friends at a gathering are not going to know what you're working on unless you share it. And so it's important, especially as you're first jumping into your first job, to really just start talking about what you like, what your plans are for the future, what kind of job you want to have, what kind of projects make you excited. Because then it'll plant seeds in people's minds, and you never know, not just who their connections, but their connections, and it just branches out. So you just never know. So you want to start talking about what you're passionate about. Building your brand. So this is, both in person and online. You want to build a consistent brand and demonstrate the best of who you are. So it doesn't mean you're a walking billboard and you have to be selling all the time. I'm not saying that. But you do need to figure out, what do you want others to know about you? And LinkedIn is really the perfect way to do that. It's designed for that. So you can absolutely create, a great profile on there, and really, not just like 2 little bullet points, but actually put any sort of publications, projects, if you've created anything, a portfolio. There's so many things you could put on there that will demonstrate who you are and what your brand is. So definitely take that opportunity. Attending professional events, so like you all are doing today, and really making the most of these types of opportunities. I know we have some folks on Zoom today, but I think we all know it's not the same thing as being in person. And the types of conversations you can have, you never know, can lead to something great. Like, actually, I just met Leah today, and she said she found an internship through this event several years ago. So it works. It really does work. And again, it's not like you're selling something. Just having conversations with people about who you are and what you're looking for is really the most important point, making those connections. So networking is cheating. Hopefully none of you think that, but I have heard that before, that, networking is, that somebody just got the job simply because they knew the right person. There's some truth to that, but that is not the full story. So networking can open the door for you. So if a recruiter has, 300 resumes, it can bring your resume to the top of the pile. That doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get a phone call. If you're not a great fit based on your skills and experiences, our hiring manager is not going to waste their time calling you and interviewing you if you're not a good fit. But as I'm sure you know, there are hundreds of applicants that are applying for jobs, and just getting your resume in front of the right person can mean that you're on your way to getting that job. But again, you still have to show up for the interview. You still have to do all of the things that you've been told to do, dress professionally, show up early, have a polished resume, send a thank you email afterwards. You still have to do all those things that you've been trained to do, but knowing somebody does help you just to get that foot in the door. But then ultimately, you're going to get the job for yourself. And keeping in mind that when somebody does that for you, they are taking a chance, and their reputation is at stake as well. So most likely, somebody is not going to recommend you for a position if they think your background is not a good match. So it's all about finding that good match. It's not just, out of desperation, that you just want to, get all these interviews, but it's about finding the right match. Hiring managers want to mitigate risk. So they're not going to waste their time, energy, resources to bring somebody on board and train them if they think they're ultimately not going to be a good fit for the role. And really, I know a lot of people say like, oh, just be yourself. That's not really specific enough. So I'm going to say be the best version of yourself. So like I said before, you don't need to be like this salesperson, like, the stereotype of the car salesman, right? It's about building connections, having good conversations. You don't want to make a hard sell. So ask people, my advice for them, ask people if you're feeling nervous, you don't know what to say, ask them about themselves. What is your background? What did you study? How did you get into the field that you're in today? Because people, let me tell you a secret, they love talking about themselves. Especially if you're like younger and you're looking for advice, people love it. It's really a compliment to them. What you're saying is you're an interesting person and I want to learn more about you. So absolutely, if you're feeling nervous, just ask them about themselves and then you can, have a natural conversation back and forth. Okay, so this is the last myth I'm going to share, and it's arguably probably the most important. So networking should only be done when you're looking for a job. This is definitely not true. The best networking is done throughout your entire career. You don't want to, so it's building connections, it's not a one-way street. You don't just want to reach out to someone when you need something. You don't want to be that friend or that family member who like only calls you when they need something. Nobody likes that person. So you want to keep your contacts warm, which means that you're periodically checking in with them. So that doesn't mean, calling them every week, but LinkedIn, again, makes it very easy to do this. So to give you an example, one of the things that I do is when I'm reading different things online, maybe I see an article and it reminds me of somebody, I send them the link on LinkedIn and I said, oh, I saw this article about professional development and I thought of you. Just a little thing like that, it takes like 15 seconds and it makes a big difference. A lot of people post updates, job updates on LinkedIn. Maybe they got a new job, maybe they got a promotion. Congratulate them. And don't just like it, don't just click the heart, like actually write a little comment. Congratulations on your promotion. This is so well deserved. Those are great connection points. So it's not like it's going to take an hour of your time. It's just a small little thing and it makes a big difference. I just came back from a conference. I'll brag a little bit. NYU sent me to Abu Dhabi. They have a campus out there and they invited college counselors out to see their campus and meet with their students. And so I met with some amazing people when I was there. I got home. Okay, well, I was sick right away, so I'm not going to say it was the next day when I got back. But very quickly after, I'm on LinkedIn looking everybody up, connecting with everybody, and trying to send them a personal note. Like I really enjoyed when we went out for Lebanese food. So they remember who I am. It connects me to their experience. And now I have this great network of people that I went to NYU Abu Dhabi with. So it's just those little things that make a really big difference.